On a more serious and sad point,
Go on.
Paul O'Grady.
Oh, Piers.
I want to show a little clip. He died aged 67 overnight, suddenly. Incredibly sad, actually. He was really... I mean, there aren't many people, I think, live up to the phrase national treasure in Britain, but he's probably right up there. Let's take a little clip of Paul.
I'd sooner have Ozzy Osbourne as Chancellor. I tell you what, because at least with Ozzy, the only cuts made would be the effing and blinding from his speech, that's all. Very nice, though.
Portuguese red from the Alentejo, which is basically the southern heart of Portugal before you get to the Algarve. Alentejo and...
said to me, you know what, she said, when you're on...
I told you this chair's gone mad. Buster died on Thursday night. He was riddled with cancer. He had cancer in his neck, in his face, and a tumour in his leg. And the kindest thing for me to do was to let him go. But whatever you are, Bust, you're gone, but not forgotten, kid. Give him a big cheer, come on.
Well, and that's now the case for Paul himself. He was a great entertainer, unbelievably funny, completely outrageous, a bit like you. When you spent time with Paul O'Grady, he would say the most incredible things, but always with a cackle and a laugh. Warm-hearted, incredibly good broadcaster, but had a unique ability to just make people laugh, both on camera and off.
And adore him. I'd have never met anyone that didn't adore Paul. He's just an unbelievable human being.
Loved his dogs, like you. He was a good man. And we've actually got a lot to be grateful to Paul for, or by default. It's a story not many people know, but I finished newspapers rather suddenly, and Simon Cowell came up with this idea for a talent show. And he wanted to call it Got Talent. And he went to ITV here in the UK, and they came up with putting it around a vehicle around Paul O'Grady and called it Paul O'Grady's Got Talent. So we all went down to do a pilot. Huge success. Me, Simon Cowell and Fern Britton, who was then doing This Morning on ITV. Right. And the contestants were the audience. And it was a great hit. And ITV were going to launch this in prime time. Massive thing for Paul, massive thing for me. This was my big TV breakthrough. And then at the last minute, Paul fell out spectacularly with ITV. You and I, of course, would never behave like this.
Never.
Had a massive falling out with them, called them a bunch of petty tyrants and said, I'd rather be sweeping the streets than work for ITV, which brought an abrupt end to my dream and the show. And then Simon Cowell sold the rights to America, to NBC. They repackaged it as America's Got Talent. I went on that. You then joined it after a season.
Yeah.
Number one show in America. And who knows, that may have never happened if Paul hadn't had a strop with ITV and walked off. And he had a great career over at, that's last on America's Got Talent with the Hoff and Harry and various others. So he was a great talent and will be greatly missed, I think, by this country.
Irreplaceable.
Yeah.
There's nobody that could, walk in his shoes. He's just an incredible human being.
Well, he was the kind of guy... I always think there's two types of broadcasting, especially for live television. There are the type that when something goes wrong, they're paralysed. They can't do anything. They just can't move. And there are the types like Paul O'Grady who would revel in stuff like falling off his chair or something going wrong. He'd find it hilarious, and he would communicate his hilarity to the audience, who would then all fall about laughing. And that's a real talent.
Real. That's it. That's the difference between fake and real.
Well, he's authentic. And I always think, you and I have had this discussion before, but authenticity is the key, I think, on television. If people can see through you eventually, if you try and pretend to be someone you're not, they'll see through it. And Paul was exactly what you saw on television, was what you saw when you met him.
Exactly. All heart.
Yeah. Great guy. Loved his dogs, loved his fans, loved his viewers, and he'll be greatly missed. Sharon, lovely to see you.
Love you.
He referenced Ozzy. Everyone references Ozzy. How is Ozzy?
He's good. He's doing so much better. He's... I think I told you about it the other night, but now it's been announced. We can talk about it. He's doing a show October 6th in America. He's doing... it's at the Coachella site.
Brilliant.
And he's there, and it's going to be a great show. Guns N' Roses, Metallica, AC/DC, Ozzy.
So the rock is still rocking.
Oh,
we haven't got to worry about Ozzy stopping rocking.
No. He never stopped. He's back.
Please send him my best.
I
it's
will.
Great to hear, and it's lovely to see you.
He wants to talk to you.
Well, let's talk.
All right.
I'm available. My answering machine says, if that's Ozzy, I'm here. All right?
Right.
I'd love to talk to him.
OK.
Great to see you.
Loves you.